The most common question I get asked when pitching a client a critical illness policy is, I already have medical insurance. Do you think I still require critical illness? So to begin with, let's clarify what the differences between the two are. Medical insurance is certainly not a substitute for critical illness or vice versa. When someone purchases a medical insurance policy, the purpose behind the plan is to take care of any medical related expenditure that comes from either a critical condition or a regular cough and cold. It could be your generic outpatient consultation, it could be a fractured limb, it could be, God forbid, something as serious as a cancer or a heart condition. The medical insurance policy is designed to pay out to the hospital, the facility, the clinic that's giving you the treatment. What's missing from that whole equation is a cash benefit. And a lot of people ask me that, what is the need for a cash benefit? Here's what a critical illness policy is expected to do. The idea behind a critical illness policy is to pay out a lump sum of money on the diagnosis of one of the critical illnesses that are listed out in your policy terms and conditions. The purpose behind this payout is to allow you to recover from that critical condition, and during that recovery period, you should not have to worry about your regular monthly expenditure. Because one thing with critical illnesses is relatively clear, is usually a critical illness requires an extended recovery period. Many a times during this recovery period, your employer may be unable to pay you a salary or a remuneration. That doesn't stop the fact that you still have to pay a mortgage or the education fees for your children or your daily expenditure or monthly expenditure. The purpose behind that critical illness payout as a lump sum of money is to offset any expenditure related to your daily living, right? So it is definitely very different from purchasing a medical insurance policy. And for this reason, the calculation of that critical illness cover that is required varies for people. Most insurers in the UAE will offer you a maximum critical illness cover for $1,250,000 US. And in some cases, if a case can be made really strongly, they can push that the critical illness cover up to $2 million US. Contrary to that, a medical insurance policy can be as low in cover as 150,000 dirhams and can go as high as 5 to 6 million US dollars, and sometimes even unlimited, because that is taking into account the cost of medical treatment. Versus this is taking into account a replacement of your income or in a manner to be able to take care of your expenditure. A case study that springs to mind is about 12 years ago, a buddy of mine from school ended up having a heart attack around the time of his 30th birthday. The condition was a result of a hereditary situation, which meant he had thicker blood than normal people. About 70% of his income came as a result of commissions that he derived from making the right kind of sales. And about 30% of his income came in from a basic salary. About 9 months before he had the heart attack, he purchased a life insurance policy with a critical illness benefit as a rider. And the critical illness benefit that he decided to purchase at that age was roughly about 100,000 US dollars. To give you an idea of his background, he was married with a child and was the sole breadwinner in his family. He also took care of his parents. The medical insurance that his company had put in place for him took care of all his bills associated with the medical attention that was required for him, which was basically an angiogram that had to be done. Now, after he came out of hospital, the doctor's recovery plan for him meant that he had no work to be done in the first 3 months. In the next 3 months, he was allowed to work half the time that he would normally put into work. And in the following 3 months, he was still expected not to drive at all, though he could complete a full 8-hour day of work. Now, what we noticed over here is, as being a sales associate where 70% of his money came from commissions, he was unable to hit his sales targets, and as a result, his income dropped significantly. The critical illness payout of 100,000 US dollars really helped him bridge that gap between his income that he earned as basic salary and the income that he would have earned as commissions. In most cases in Dubai, a group life insurance policy would cover the employee for his basic salary in the event something went wrong. His medical insurance over here took care of his medical bills and the ongoing medical bills that pursued. However, his critical illness cover allowed him to take 9 months, zero stress, and just recover from the situation without having to worry about an income or an expenditure that was owed for the mortgage, for the education of his child, and for the upkeep of his family. Another thing to consider about having this critical illness cover in place is once you are diagnosed as being critically ill, it might be in most cases too late for you to go and acquire additional critical illness. In the case study that I mentioned to you earlier, this dear friend of mine has been trying to obtain additional life insurance and critical illness for the last 13 years unsuccessfully.